This is for the nerds, this is for the brainiacs, this what we deserve. Go ahead and play it back, you ain't gonna touch me, you not gonna do nothing, you are not above me, I bet you wish you was me, I know it, I know.
Fantastic Steelers New Year,
go!
baby! Woo! Like I said, I'm going to ease into the Steeler talk today.
Yeah, right, he's right into it.
Happy New Year, everybody. Welcome
New
to 2023 edition of the Only Friends podcast. I am your number one, the host with the most. More importantly, no Conrad to be found. Matt Berkey. Joined as always.
We're not doing this.
He's still muted, right?
We're
Hey,
not
Connie.
doing this. The host is right here. You know, just happens I have to be at the Borgata right now. I got to do some things. I got to work. But, you know, the host is here, man.
Conrad's left podcasting for a lucrative career in poker. We wish him well. As we said, we're a traveling podcast now, and as you can see, we got some boots on the ground out the Borgata, playing the what's the name of this down bad tournament you're playing, Conrad?
I am playing the return. So it's a 22. I'm not sure, actually, if this is the return or the 5K is the return, but it is the 2200 mystery bounty, and it is popping down here. There's like 800 and I'm sorry. There's 925 entries, and it is still the registration still open with another flight to go. So,
and you're about to re-enter. You're about to re-enter.
No, I got piles. I mean, I got started stack, but I just lost like
I got piles. I mean,
220 big blinds worth of pots.
Okay.
This connection quality is very unhinged.
I don't understand.
That's all right.
Seems fine. He's just walking like an idiot. I don't think this is what happens when you let your number two do your bidding.
I mean, this is very fitting for what we expected for the new year.
Why?
We're coming in hot, We're coming in with the Conrad swooping in from the Borgata.
Bro, he's out there. He's out in those streets.
He's everywhere right now.
You had a big victory yesterday, Conrad. Congratulations.
Yeah,
Nice work on winning the
Conrad.
100K on WSOP. We're all very proud of you.
They let me win the 320. That's a beautiful thing. You know, something funny. I won the warm-up last year on the same day, on January 1st. So
You like to start the new year off right. That's why.
I got a thing with these Sunday specials and on January 1st. So I'm
Rumor
not
is
going to play anymore.
I mean, you're on like almost 100K upswing, so rumor is I'll be getting some tab payments here shortly.
Is there something wrong with the connection here?
Hey,
Chad,
let me work on that.
Throw that tab up in the throw the tab. Let's
The
go.
connection is not working, it seems. I don't know what's going on here, guys, but I'll talk to you guys later. If you can't hear me, I don't know if you can hear me. But bye, guys.
All right, bye.
See you later, Connie.
Cocksucker.
Conrad went to go catch the runner again.
Yeah. He heard it's some math teacher in middle of nowhere, Atlantic City, New Jersey. He's gonna catch the runner, get that PSPC.
First was like 24K, so it was like basically a platinum pass.
Yeah.
That's true. Yeah. That is true. And we will be in the Bahamas, but we'll talk about that a little bit later. Let's talk about what we did over this little break. It was nice. We finally had a week off. I don't know if you guys know this, but we did a lot of podcasting last year.
A ton.
We did.
191 episodes.
That's how many it was?
That's how many it was, Landon.
So you're saying this is the 192nd?
I'm saying this is 192.
Wow.
So you're saying in like 2 weeks, it'll be the 200th episode?
It will be the 200th episode.
Wow.
We have about, probably like next Friday-ish. The Friday after next, even.
There you go.
If you will.
Oh, like bi-monthly?
Let's not go down there.
Let's not start the new year off like this.
I actually have a great chat log between me, Andy, and Dan from when Landon sent me that we're going to reveal somewhere down the line. It's just
we'll
chef
have to get
kiss.
Dan and Zeus back.
Yeah. So speaking of Uncle Dan, he hosted us during the holiday break. We went up to Tahoe. Somehow we managed to do it all wrong. So we were there for a week. We went last Sunday and stayed until Friday or Saturday. When did we come back? We came back Saturday.
Yes.
Yeah, so we came back Saturday morning. Somehow it rained 3 of the 7 days that we were there. Yeah.
You can't snowboard.
Can't
in rain.
snowboard in rain. You can't snowboard in rain. The conditions were like okay the days that we went. Like it was somewhat warm. Eric and I went one day where it was like pretty cold and windy. So like we were only able to get out 2.5 days of the 7 that we were there, which was for me and Eric a little bit brutal. For everybody else, not that big of a deal. We attempted to teach Landon how to snowboard. He quit. He doesn't have that dog in him.
I don't have the snowboard dog in me, no.
He doesn't have the dog. The irony is that between him, Melissa, and Henry, shout out to Henry who's here joining us that we haven't acknowledged yet.
Hey, Henry.
Between the 3 of them, Melissa has done it before, so obviously like she was the furthest ahead. But Landon, for sure, without any question, had the most potential to be able to pick it up and like be pretty good at it quickly.
Yep.
After 2 runs down the bunny hill, done.
So
Yeah.
what didn't you like about it?
It's not that I didn't.
Don't. I don't want to. It's 2023. I don't want to hear excuses.
It's
I don't want to hear excuses at the start of the year, man. No. There is nothing that he can say.
Yes.
It's just like, okay, I wasn't amazing at it within 30 minutes, so I quit.
that is not why I didn't do it. That's
Dude,
not why I
just
didn't.
take the L.
He quit because, man, this for a fun activity, this has a very high barrier of entry.
Okay, I don't sound.
That is exactly what he said.
I don't sound-
and he sounded exactly like that as well.
I don't like when you two gang up on me
Man, I really enjoy it.
Oh,
because that
man.
sounds like something that you would say about any like
No,
activity.
that sounds like somebody making fun of me saying things that I would never actually say.
Snowboarding is fun. Okay, it is a fun activity, but you have to also want to do it, and I didn't really want to.
Yeah, but like
It's
you
like
can't
golf.
want to do it until you try to do it.
Yeah.
I tried twice.
Like-
it was fun. I said I had fun. I just didn't want to do it anymore.
No,
Why
I
is that
said
not
I had
okay?
fun.
I said I had a good
Am I not
time.
looking like I'm having fun over here? It's fucking fun.
Literally, I was like, "Yeah, it's fun. I just don't want to do it." And they got mad at me and said I quit.
Well, because the thing is that the whole point, nobody has fun their first day out. Like, you're on the fucking bunny hill. It's too slow to actually stay standing. Like, this is what they don't tell you whenever you're learning. Everyone's like, oh, you're really going to fall on your ass a lot.
Yeah.
And it's like, yes, that's true. But not for the reasons that you think. If you just went up the lift and started on like a green run, you'd probably fall because you're scared and you have no idea how to stop or any of
Right.
those things. But you would have enough speed that you would more than likely not fall out of like just being a beginner, right? Like you'd fall because you lack technique and you don't necessarily understand.
That's what most people say that when they first do it. They say that, they're like, I didn't know how to stop, so I just
just
spit
fall.
it.
Yeah.
You just fall because that's the only way I could stop.
When you're on the bunny hill,
emergency brake,
Yeah.
when you're on the bunny hill, you fall because you're going so goddamn slow that any leaning one way or another in your weight distribution, you just eat it. I fell 3 times trying to just show them how to get down the bunny hill. And it's like, I can't remember the last time that I just naturally fell going down a green or blue.
Six Flags.
No. I ate a lot of shit.
yeah.
I ate a lot of shit this trip. Our friend Jared, who's like an export snowboarder, took Eric and I down a black in like fresh powder. Bro, this is a whole different experience that I am not fucking cut out for.
What makes them different levels of skill?
When you snowboard down groomers, it's like packed snow that allows you to just ride your edges the whole way. And the technique for snowboarding is like you keep like a 60-40 distribution of weight towards the front, which then allows you to basically guide your board left, right, straight, whatever, using your front leg, and you put a little less weight on the back and you kind of just like whip it back and forth like you butter. So you're just going edge to edge, kind of carving the mountain whenever you're going down a groomer. When you're in powder, it's literally the exact opposite. You put like 70% of your weight on the back and you try to like keep the nose of the board up, kind of like you're surfing,
Yeah.
because otherwise you just plow snow. So I just plowed snow the whole fucking time. And let me tell you, when you're in like 1.5 feet of fresh powder, it's exhausting. You're just always on your ass. You can't get any like footing to stand back up because you need your arms or whatever to get back up. You finally get back up, you're buried again. You can't get moving, and then you just topple over like Humpty fucking Dumpty.
Yeah, I'm with you, Landon. It
Because-
sounds like it really sucks to snowboard.
I mean, this is all-
dude. I can see why you hated it.
Yeah, I mean, that sounds like brutal, but
Yeah, but that's like advanced.
Yeah.
it's advanced. That's advanced.
You
darkness.
wouldn't do.
Sounds like surfing as well. Like when you
Yeah.
like, lean too far into the front of the board and you just catch a wave.
Yeah.
The front of your board goes under. But dude, what about all the like W-Riz you could have potentially gained over the next couple of years, just like pulling up on your snowboard alongside some straight 9 out of 10?
I'm not a snowboarder, man.
No?
This is what I said. He says this now. I'm gonna clip that, by the way.
Okay.
He says this now because here is the absolute capital T truth, 100% facts of this scenario. He will meet a girl that likes to do winter activities. He will become a fucking snowboarder instantly. Bro, I was the exact same. Dan, I lived with Dan for 12 years, and he is like a very good snowboarder. He learned when he was young. And I was always like scared, intimidated, didn't want to do it. It seemed like a hassle, yada, yada, yada. Never went. He begged me to go every winter. Never went. Meet a girl who likes to snowboard, instantly pick it up, and regret not doing it 20 years earlier.
Why can't I just find a girl that spits pre-workout in my mouth?
I mean, that's the goal.
Why do I have to find the winter sports one?
Bro, walk before you run, you know?
Dude, I don't want the winter
Like,
sports.
come
is too
on,
much,
bro.
man.
What is it we were saying the other day as well? So there's now snowboarding and cold plunges.
Oh, yeah.
Those are the two things that we're betting that he will become an expert in.
The cold
inside
plunge
the next
thing,
10 years.
the cold plunge to me thing, I just don't understand. He lives in the gym. He lives in the sauna. I mean, this kid eats, gyms, and sleeps. That's it. That's his day. And he just like rinse and repeats it. Like, so he eats multiple times, he gyms multiple times, then he sleeps multiple times throughout the course of a day. And like, yo, when are you going to start on this cold plunge? He's like, nah, not for me.
I kind of want to lay money on him being like heavily into cold plunging by the end of the year.
Of course. All you have to do is tell him that it will give him an ab.
It won't give me.
It will
abs.
give you abs. bro.
No, because I have to eat more food now. It's a weird. I'm going through the weird stage where you have to put weight on because you don't want to be small anymore.
Bulking.
Yeah.
Everyone loves the bulk.
No,
Bulking season.
because then like there's a way to do it where you don't get you don't put on too much weight too fast, but at the same time you don't proportionally get you can't stay the same lean percent.
This is just math, man.
Right. It's just exactly
it's
the
just
math does
math.
not work out in your favor to where you can get strong and look more lean and put weight on at the same time. That's not
Yeah,
how
but it's winter. That's why you pick up winter sports where you wear many, many layers. Also,
Henry's looking at me right now with
No, I was just going to say, talking of math, did you guys see Farah Galfon's Instagram story?
I did not.
Spencer.
no.
So it was Spencer Galfon's 4th birthday the other day.
Okay.
Right, this is Phil Galfon's son. And they spent the entire day doing math equations on the whiteboard at home. And I tell you what, this kid is maybe the next Phil Galfond. And it makes sense. Like, the kid's 4 years old and he's just doing like ridiculous amounts of math. I'll show it to you afterwards.
He's just doing like logarithmic math.
It's insane, dude. The kid's 4. Like, come on, you're meant to be outside eating dirt. What's going on?
he's doing W math.
It's just like father, like son.
That is true. It is important to eat dirt. Got to get that gut biome in order. I did sense a little bit of saltiness in your voice. Is that perhaps because you still owe me 50 push-ups?
Do you want them right now?
If you're willing, I'm a
The camera,
watchful.
we'd have to move the
Wait,
camera.
why did the salt? What did that have to do with?
Well,
saltiness?
I honestly missed my cue whenever you were like really hammering Landon about the snowboarding giving
Right.
up. I thought maybe that was because he cost you the bet.
Oh yeah, they made a bet on me.
Oh yeah, no. I mean,
Can you feel the
We made a
listeners in on
we
what's
made
going
a
on
how
here?
soft is Landon bet, and I bet that he would not make it an hour 20 on the bunny hill.
I'm not even salty about the push-ups. I'm more just annoyed with him, and also I'm annoyed. I'm annoyed that I believed in him
Right.
the way that I did as
Right,
well,
right.
because he didn't strike me as a quitter. I was like, this guy's gonna try, like he's gonna grind it out for a good 3 hours, Yeah, there are 3-year-olds that are doing circles around you right now and they're clowning on you. I get it. It's a tough pill to swallow.
No, that was
But
fine.
he strike like he's in the gym. He's posting Instagram stories of how he's in the gym all the time.
Yep.
Weight loss from January to the end of this year, and I'm like, this guy grinds.
Right. Yeah.
He's got the grit.
Yeah.
He's gonna persevere and he's going to put up with it.
You could have done more as the person betting on him.
My read was wrong.
You could have done more if you would have started filming him. If you would have started posting to his social, really give him a lot of content, if you will.
True.
I think that he would have Bambied his way down the hill a little bit more often.
I didn't think he needed it, man.
Yeah.
I just thought he was built different.
Matt and I have had this conversation already about the way that I operate as an individual. I can only do one thing at a time.
That is true. He has sole focus on one thing, and right now that one thing is gym.
Yeah, no, snowboard's not part of that.
Which is a shame. It's a
For
real,
now,
it's a real
listen.
pity. It's a real pity.
But it's, you know what it is? Because it's not like you're doing this selfless act of teaching us how to go down the bunny hill. You want people to go with you so you can go have a good time.
Yeah, you'll have a good time too. It's a win-win for everybody, I promise you.
I think it's more win for you than me.
Is the plan to go through life like in 6-month blocks at a time, just like focusing on one thing? Or how does that work?
No.
Okay.
I don't know.
You're going to get back to me on that one, yeah?
Right, because what you learn is that you don't really learn much in school besides like the borderline like academia. Like I don't know how life works. I don't know, like I just got a car, right? I don't know how getting a car works. I don't know how taxes work for all intents and purposes, right?
Respect it.
So now I have to get like a PA to like kind of teach me how life works because I can't do all this stuff on my own. It's way too challenging and I can only do one thing at a time, and there's 10 different things in the book of life that you have to learn in a short amount of time.
I respect it. I think it was Bruce Lee that said, he doesn't fear the man that's thrown 10,000 different kicks. He fears the man that's thrown one kick 10,000 times. So like, I get the whole knuckling down for 6 months and mastering something, but at the same time, you're full of shit. So, but yeah, like I give you those 50 now if you want, but I need to go and get a t-shirt on because there's no way I'm doing it.
No. I would actually take them on the pod happily, but we would really have to fuck with the camera angles to do it, and it's just too much for Guapo.
Fair.
But I will tax that ass.
Oh man, after a 12-hour session at the Aria as well. What's going on?
Oh, so brutal. I saw that you got a little whacked on New Year's Eve.
Dude, I got spanked. Yeah.
Welcome to America, kid.
Dude, man, like these guys, they just love calling with like 2 outs for all the money.
Tell me again how you're folding full houses.
Yeah. Well, dude, right. I'm not even joking. Today, $3,000 in the pot going to the river. I've got $100 behind.
Okay.
River pills off. He just like blocks for like 10% or whatever, and I just fold.
Wait, you have $100?
Yeah. There's like 3K in the pot.
And you folded for $100?
Yeah.
I don't understand.
Well, I just like, he just always has a flush.
But it's $100.
Yeah, well,
What if he just doesn't always have a flush because you only have $100?
Dude,
Pennies make pounds.
Listen, man. New year, new me. I'm folding rivers in 2023.
I think this
results to come in. You'll see.
This story has
results
to be...
or results?
Results.
Results.
No.
Wait, this story has to be fabricated in some capacity.
It's not. Like I turn nut straight, sorry.
Yeah.
Like two-tone on the turn. Flush completes on the river.
Right.
And he leads into me with 100 behind. So in his mind, I'm never folding.
Correct.
And he just always has it.
It's just
and
you
there's
two.
a guy behind.
Oh, there's a guy behind.
Yeah.
But you're getting laid 30-1.
I don't care, bro.
31-1.
Dude, if I had $50, I would have folded.
I hate you.
New year, new me.
I hate you so bad.
No, but see, I did this yesterday when I lost like 6K. I've got ace 7XX on an ace 7-7 board. I like pot, like B50 flop, pot turn. He calls, river's a 10. I bet 400 into like 1.2 with 200 behind. He jams. Obviously, I just call, even though he always has ace 10, and I get shown ace 10.
Sure.
And today I showed up, I said, no, I'm going to save that $200.
Whoa. It's a little different.
When have they ever shown a bluff in that spot?
But this is a little different.
Is it?
I'm
Yeah.
right there with you, Henry. I think
This
this
is-
is just excellent.
God, I can't believe
tortoise
this is even
approved.
tortoise approved.
Beware.
Oh, I can't breathe.
So I'm
God
just
damn
meant
it.
to give him $100.
Yes, you're meant to give him $100.
No.
And you know what? Once in a blue moon, this idiot is going to show up with the same hand as you or something worse.
No, he's not. He's just always.
You know how often a blue moon happens? Not
Well,
often enough.
31.
Not 30-1.
No,
No, that'd be every month.
Would it be monthly or bi-monthly? Would it be
Jersey boy saying that the Matt is so tilted right now.
I am. I'm so tilted. I can't even figure out like how to segue into the Steelers, which made me so
you're one of those
unbelievably
live
happy.
players. You're just one of those guys that's just like, oh well, I'm priced in. No, you know that bell curve chart with like. I was about to say
low IQ, mid IQ, high IQ.
I was about to say a word that probably shouldn't be.
Sure.
Shouldn't say.
It's a streaming term.
Yeah, you know, and you're just that guy. You're just like, oh well, I'm just getting 40-1 on a call where
You know how the bell curve meme works?
Terry Two Pair never has a bluff.
Hold on,
in the
hold on.
spot.
You
He
know-
hasn't bluffed.
You
in
know how the
5 years.
bell curve meme works, right?
I do, yes.
On the other side of that is the exact same man saying, "I'm
no.
never folding for
You're
$100."
not. You're not.
No,
you're not the high IQ guy,
no. It's low, mid, high. Low and high are the same. Mid is the one that says.
we know.
Right, your middle curve.
No,
Your middle curve saying pot odds.
no, no.
Yes, low IQ says he
Okay,
always has it, I
okay.
fold. High IQ says he always has it, I fold. Middle IQ says pot odds, I call.
All right, can we just get the clown meme instead? Matt's face with like the clown face just slowly appearing. He's just like, I'm getting laid too good of a price.
Right.
I call.
31 to
Full clown
1. I will tell everybody here right now, I will never fold getting 31 to 1. Nothing.
You give me 30-1, I take it.
I'll take it. I take the price. 9 high, call.
No.
Show me your hand. Show me your hand,
Yeah,
sir.
it's for info for later.
That's right.
How do
It's worth it. Yes, it's worth it to see what he pay or what he bet $100 with.
This is like that Melissa hand history from the other day. Where
No, that wasn't
you're
a
just
hand.
like, yeah,
Henry,
cool.
that was not a hand history.
All right, fair.
That was
It was more of like a regaling of a story of
Yeah,
something
that
that,
was
happened once.
that was a tale of a man who sat down at a PLO table, made a full house, and decided it wasn't good at some point in the
It
hand.
wasn't good enough.
Oh man. All right, so now that we're done talking about all the things that
Your
made me
team.
sad, let's
Let's
talk
do
about
it.
the things that made me happy. Like me predicting that the Steelers were going to go 7-2 down the stretch.
We're almost there, Burke. One more win.
They are 6-2. I have. Oh no, did I lose it? I might have
No.
lost it.
The
bet.
The bet. No,
yeah,
it's
right.
over
It's
there.
right in front of you.
Yeah.
It's right
Oh,
by the-
shit.
Yeah.
Look at this. Look at this, Henry. 5,000 to 1. Well, I mean technically 500
500
to
to
1.
1.
Yeah. 500 to 1. We bet the Steelers to win the Super Bowl.
For $5.
For $5. I'm so mad that I didn't parlay. The second I said they were going to go 7-2, I should have been like sweating their playoff hopes.
Yeah.
Once they were 0.3% to make the playoffs, I should have just parlayed from
Now
that
what are
point
they
on.
like?
Dude,
They're like.
what kind of
they're
Steelers
like
fan are you
20%.
guys? $5?
No,
No, it was a
that
gift from Conrad.
Conrad.
Oh, okay.
Oh, it was only because
Trust me.
we did Secret Santa.
I'm tilted. It's not 1,000.
Put $50 on something.
Yeah.
It's your team.
Well,
like, who gives a?
I'm beyond.
So
irate.
the context was Conrad got Matt some other gifts too, like some shirts that are too big
Some
for
down
him.
bad fucking
Yeah.
t-shirts.
Some down bad t-shirts that I don't even. No one really knows why he got you those shirts, but you have them,
Right.
which I guess they can now just become my shirts.
There you go.
And then
you got
also
some growing to do.
part of it's the sleeper build. Part of the $50 that he was allowed to spend, he used $5 on that.
Okay. What are the odds of this coming in now?
About 100%.
It's gonna work every time.
99.8, something like that.
If I were, I mean, those were not proper odds when we laid the bet.
Right.
They're probably closer to like 750.
You're
800.
never gonna like the
you're never gonna get the right
sportsbook's never
price,
gonna give
obviously.
you anything close to what the
To be
what the
fair,
right price is.
Conrad's on an upswing, man.
He is on an upswing.
Like,
Might pay off
maybe,
that tab.
maybe
That's
it's
lucky money.
transferred. Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Well, the whole point that I'm trying to make is that I'm mad that I don't have a parlay for them to make the playoffs because what started as a 0.3% chance is now somewhere in the neighborhood of like 15 to 20%.
Something like that. It's got to be. Yeah.
That's how they get you.
Oh, we have
That's how they
to
get
quickly talk about the Steelers game during was it? It wasn't New Year's.
It was
It
New
was
Year's
Christmas.
Day.
Christmas Eve.
It was Christmas. Watching that game at Brian's house.
Yes.
I don't think Landon enjoys anything more than watching Yinzers sweat the Steelers.
I love watching them. I love
it's
watching you guys
great.
watch the Steelers. Just it's so much heartbreak and it's down sad, and then somehow you win. I don't know how you win. It
This
makes
is what the
so-
Steelers do. Listen, they've been doing this my entire
Yeah.
life. Literally my entire life, where it's just like, how could we ever win this game? It's like, well, we'll probably win the game.
that sounds like being an England fan. I
Yeah?
can relate.
That's what,
yeah.
right? It's just
Yeah,
they just find a way. It's something in their DNA that like has been instilled in like Steeler culture since the 70s.
true.
Since the Immaculate Reception, they were like, holy shit, no matter what the situation is, we can find a way to win.
It's just
And
like-
when that happened, that's how their mindset works moving forward. So they just are never out of it. They're never going to give up. They're just going to keep fighting till the last second. And then good things happen.
It's like math doesn't exist. Like there'll be a spot where you
Not when you have heart.
You clearly have to go for it on a 4th down. It's like, nah, we're gonna punt it.
Look, that
Or,
was-
nah, we're gonna go for a field goal in a spot we have to
Bro,
go for a touchdown.
Yesterday's game was a Mike Tomlin fucking masterpiece. It was scripted the way that he wrote it out. That is typical Baltimore Pittsburgh football right there.
I predicted. I said to a couple friends of mine in a different chat. I said, I go. They said.
You have other friends in a different chat?
It
You
was
cheating on
Dolak,
us?
and he said, did you take the Steelers in the under? Because I always say anytime they play like Baltimore in a primetime game, the Steelers they win, and it's always under. I go, yeah. I go, the score's gonna end 13-10. Pretty close. It's 16-13.
Yeah, I said that they were going to score the go-ahead touchdown, which we just saw. Big shout out to Najee. Blowout game yesterday. I said that they were going to score the go-ahead touchdown. Baltimore was going to get the ball back with just enough time on the clock to put a drive together. They were going to get in the field goal range. And as they line up with the best field goal kicker maybe of all time, they were going to get a penalty of being offsides. That was going to push them back, forcing them to throw a Hail Mary, and Minkah Fitzpatrick was going to pick the ball off and end the game. Most of that was true.
Pretty close.
Most of that was actually very accurate. Minkah did end the game with an interception. I mean, like, let's not overhype it here. They did beat a Baltimore team with a backup quarterback. But what's most important is this team is very different than the early first half of the season team. They lost some really down bad fucking games. The Jets stink, as we said they did all season long, with the exception of Conrad. The Dolphins ended up being...
They got scammed a little bit.
I mean, Tua's pretty fucked up. He might not ever play again. He's in like his 25th concussion protocol.
Yeah.
But yeah, we need some things to happen. We need the Jets to win next week, but Miami's going to be rolling out their third string quarterback. Bridgewater broke his finger.
He's broke. He's done.
It's broke. I don't know if it's done or
They
not, but
broke
like,
it in his
whatever. They
finger.
want to put Bridgewater in with a broken finger. I still like the Jets.
Yes.
Buffalo needs to beat New England, but Buffalo will be playing for home field.
Yes, and it's in Buffalo.
Right. So that's like, let's fucking go. Lock
And then
it
the
in.
Steelers have to beat the down bad Browns.
Down bad Browns, man. They can't do anything. Deshaun Watson looks like an absolute trash dumpster fire.
They won though. They won yesterday.
They did win.
They beat the down bad Commanders.
So what you're saying is it's not over.
It's not over.
So it's gone from a 0.3% chance, was it, to
Yeah.
now like 16%?
Somewhere between like 15 and 20%.
Yeah.
I'm having flashbacks to Shawshank Redemption, where Red's telling him to not have hope. It's like hope's a dangerous thing.
you
in
don't
this place.
understand,
We
man.
don't do hope.
You don't understand.
We
The,
don't
Hope's
do
gonna
hope
kill
here.
you, Berkey.
the culture of being a Yinzer fan, a Steeler fan at heart, is that we always have hope. And this came to fruition last year, where the Steelers in Ben Roethlisberger's final season went 8-1, no shot at the playoffs. Somehow in the final week, the Chargers are playing the Raiders. If they tie, they both go to the playoffs.
and the Steelers don't.
And the Steelers are out. If one of them plays to win, the Steelers sneak in
So
over
they
the
could
loser.
literally just play to a tie, and then they're both in.
Henry, it goes to overtime. There's
Yeah.
like
It's tied. The end of regulation.
it's tied. There's like a minute and a half left on the clock. All they need to do is kneel down, end the game. Nope.
No, the Raiders say, "Fuck you, Chargers. We're going for it. Throw a pass, line up, kick a 50-yard field
Yeah.
goal, and
Win the game.
win. Send the Chargers home and send the Steelers to the
The
playoffs."
so all they had to do was kneel down. The Raiders were like running the ball to run out the clock, and the Chargers called a timeout.
Yeah.
And the second they called a timeout, and the Raiders were like,
That's
"These
right,
motherfuckers
yeah.
are trying to preserve the clock."
Yep.
That was it. They kicked the field goal. Steelers go to the playoffs. They obviously get bounced by the Chiefs, which they might get the rematch again this year if they do find a way in. Which is, God, man, I can't. How about those fucking Steelers? TJ Watt, baby. How about them Steelers?
He's
Let's
so
go.
Good. He's so good. What a difference.
What a difference
He gets
maker.
it. Man, he really
What
is.
a difference maker. I was looking at some stats. They're 1-6 with him out of the lineup, and they're 7-2, I think, or 7-1 with him in the lineup. Just unbelievable how much of a game changer this guy is.
He really is.
My God, it's just so painful. It's just, it's remarkable, but not in the way that people use the word remarkable. It's like when people say something's incredible, but not in the way of like, wow, this is such a big deal.
What's remarkable about
How
it?
does this happen every time?
Bro,
Just-
you are
this is what
witnessing.
we do.
You're witnessing the start of a dynasty.
Yeah.
Okay?
No.
Yes.
The
Yes.
Kenny Pickett era. The Kenny Pickett era is upon us.
Kenny fucking Pickett.
Kenny fucking Pickett, baby. Okay, Kenny Pickett era is upon us. This man has balls of steel.
He did throw some dimes.
He threw some dimes when it mattered.
Oh yeah, there he is.
There he is. Oh,
His
look at
testicle
that.
sack is now so large, he has to wear a huge hoodie upside down instead of trousers.
Man can barely break the huddle. His balls are so big. His
balls are
Let's
hot.
fucking go, squad. God, I've never been so happy over something so mediocre before.
I like when you're happy. I don't like when you're sad.
That's good. I have to tell you, when the Steelers are eliminated from the playoffs, which doesn't happen often, but it does happen, I am absolutely lost.
Yeah.
What do you do when your team's out of it in week 15?
Right. So you're saying you're more sad if they don't make the playoffs?
Yeah, because I know I'm still going to watch the final 3 games. All season long, I've been sweating watching meaningless football, and I'm so happy that I won't have to do it.
But now you're watching. Now every game's meaningful.
That's what I mean.
You
No matter
like-
what, even if they don't make the playoffs, all 17 games that they played this season were meaningful, and that means something to me.
Right. Oh my God. What? It feels like yesterday when Steelers beat the Bengals and like Conrad was like running around this office.
Oh, yeah. That was week 1.
That was week 1.
I
Goes
know.
so fast.
That was during the academy. Yeah.
Yeah. Time just fucking flies.
Time does fly. Time does fly.
It's 2023, boys. What are the goals for 2023?
Oh. Well,
Make money. Health.
that's-
Go gym. I'm off to a good start. I made 5K last night. I might just call it a win for the year.
I think you just.
No more poker.
I won $13 in December 31st.
I'm pretty sure Henry just came up with the fuckboy mantra of 2023.
Make money. Go gym.
Go gym.
Health.
Health.
That's it.
More bitches. More money.
So I found myself on. First of all, I didn't do anything for New Year's Eve for the second year in a row. And
It's glorious, isn't it?
I don't know.
I don't know, man.
I don't know.
I was on the couch with them, and I was like, I can get behind doing nothing. And then
No.
7
You should
PM
leave. You're too young.
7 p.m. rolled around, and I was like, hang on a fucking minute. I'm in Vegas, right?
Yeah.
For the first time ever in my life on New Year's Eve. I'm
That's
really
different,
good. Like, I'm
right,
gonna
yeah.
stay on a couch.
Yeah.
know.
After you've been
No.
here for 14 years, it's a little different.
No. Oh, I mean, to be fair, when I was 27, I was also in Vegas, and we had a fucking sky suite at Palms in the middle of rain.
You're 27?
What's up?
20
What are you saying, old man?
27 or 28?
I am an old man. Yeah,
I not
no.
look
If I was
27?
27, I would be at the club.
The curb.
The club.
Yeah, we got we
Blacked out.
I think we had like 20 people. We rented out a sky suite at Rain
Oh,
nightclub at Palms. Bottle girl. It was way too extra.
Yeah, I would never do that.
Just a terrible fucking night.
Just refuse to spend money on.
I had a good time.
I remember the
What I
first time I went to the Wynn, the swimming pool at the Wynn. Quite literally ordered 4 bottles of Fiji
yeah,
and
$50.
I want to say a gin and
Each.
tonic for a friend.
Yeah, $50.
And she just brings over a $90 bill,
Yeah,
a
there it is.
$90 tab. I'm like, excuse you? Like, how much? Yeah, it's just never.
Take it back. I'll drink the pool water.
Yeah, never going to spend money on bottle service. Just
Bro, you're you're a fuckboy in training, man. You got to figure out the ways of the world. You know, you got to get a host. You got to get a guy who hooks you up. You know,
Dude, I don't think I
cut
want
the
to.
lines.
I don't want to get laid by women that are interested in that kind of life.
Yeah, I'm with you.
I'm not attracted to that.
I'm 100% with you. You're also in the wrong city. Like, if I've learned anything, you're just in the wrong city.
Why?
Because that's what
Why?
women in this city are
Why?
attracted to.
Oh, okay. So I see what you mean.
Yeah.
Right.
He's got
it's,
it now.
It's a transactional city. And that's no slight against Las Vegas. You know what you're getting yourself into whenever you make this a part-time or
conscious
permanent
choice.
So you're telling me they're not looking for love?
Maybe they are. But,
There ain't no love in these streets, Henry.
they might be looking for love, but you better be goddamn sure you can support their habits.
Damn, Daniel. You better be earning at least 300K.
That's right. If you're gonna be driving around in Dean Egg's Tesla, you better be rocking it, kid.
It's mine now. It's not his
It
anymore.
is mine now. I find myself on New Year's Eve. I think I was talking to you a little bit about this in the car, where this year particularly, and I don't know why. Maybe it's just because I'm paying a little bit closer attention to social media, but this year in particular, my timeline was just absolutely flooded with goals for 2023.
Oh yeah.
And you know, I probably am like more active in the poker social media sphere than I have been in years past.
I'm sorry.
But I find it to be fascinating because my mind doesn't work this way, but I understand that a lot of people do. Like, I understand a lot of people are linear thinkers. They're they kind of want to progress step by step, and it's very important to have milestones or goals set along the way that they can kind of check off. I don't know if any of you are like this, but I've heard a lot of people tell me that for them, they enjoy making to-do list simply to put the check mark next to the things that they accomplish.
Yeah.
That makes sense. It feels like you've done something productive.
Right.
Yeah. I don't personally operate that way, and I find goal-oriented thinking to be quite problematic in arenas that like you actually give a shit about or that you're heavily invested in, right? So if you're talking about career, relationships, gym, things of that nature, even Landon, let's fucking go. I forgot to mention this. Penguins are playing the Winter Classic right now. They just jumped out to a 1-0 lead.
You did what Brian did during the Pirates game.
Same
Go, baby, go! Go, baby, go!
I'm watching the Pirate game, and someone hits a home run, and I get excited. He jumps down my goddamn throat. Now, fast forward 6 months later, he's doing the exact same thing.
You hold the
except
fuck
to
on.
a down bad sport like hockey.
No, you hold the fuck on. The Penguins are one
Just
of.
kidding, I like
I mean, they're not great this year. They're struggling to be a mid-tier team, but they're one of the best franchises in all of the NHL. Number one, number two, the Winter Classic is an annual spectacle, not some goddamn game 160.
That's just like your opinion, man.
Yeah, I was gonna say that sounds pretty unfair.
No, it's not. It's like I don't know what to call it. It's an event. It is a one-off game.
So you can just randomly scream at the
He's gonna
monitor
scream when it's
No.
2-0.
when you were telling us that's not.
I
what
was
we
going to
should be
mention the
doing.
Winter Classic anyway, and you were never going to mention the Pirates.
I mentioned the Pirates every game of the podcast. What are you talking about during this?
This is the Pirates
My
podcast.
apologies. Let me correct that. You were
By the
not.
way, did you see that picture they got?
You were not meant to mention the Pirates. My apologies.
Back to the Steelers.
No one loves. I love how happy you are right now. Brian's so happy right
I
now.
am. Of course, I'm happy. The Penguins are winning.
So when it comes to like goal-oriented thinking and kind of like deriving or planning out your next year, I've always found this to be a bit problematic, and I kind of leaned a little bit into the mindset of like January 1st is fucking arbitrary. Like,
very.
And I think I took that approach to New Year's Eve as well, where it's like now I'm like, I'm too old to go out. I don't really care to do this. Honestly, I wish I would have tagged along with you because I know the Strip is a shit show on New Year's Eve. And if nothing else, it's like the best people watching spectacle of all time.
It's like hanging out with Forrest Gump. I mean, it's this place is just absolutely batshit crazy.
Yeah.
I've never seen 70 security guards escort a single person out of the casino before. And I felt like they were all going to gangbang him outside. I don't know what he did.
I think your definition of gangbang is different than ours.
Oh, okay. What's your...
Ours is a sexual term.
Oh, no. Gangbang is when, you get jumped by, a...
You just get
group
fought.
of-
Right, yeah.
No, it was amazing. It's absolutely spectacular. It's just, great. And then we somehow ended up getting into some, private rooftop party at Veer to watch the fireworks show.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it was
The
great.
fireworks display is amazing.
It was insane.
Yeah.
Wouldn't do it again, but...
Sure, but, experience it once.
Worth the experience.
So I think I've come around a little bit on the arbitrary nature of it for a few reasons. Number one, I did always use the new year as sort of a reset to kind of take inventory, figure out what the fuck is going wrong, figure out areas that you can improve. And in the past, when I was a much more optimistic young man like Mr. Tice, and I thought the world was my oyster and I was going to conquer it all, I spent a lot of time creating vision boards, trying to really map out my process. So for me personally, the idea behind a vision board wasn't to create some sort of tangible goal. It was more so to create a visual manifestation of what my process actually looks like, right? I love these things. Wait But Why has a poster that is, I can't remember how many boxes, but it represents the average lifespan. So there's a box for every day that you're alive, and you literally or every week that you're alive, something like that, and you literally just check this box. I love those visual representations of something that's too big to quantify. So I use vision boards in that regard. But what I realized, I guess, is that it's so fluffy, right? It's just what you aspire to, but it's
not what's real, kind of.
Well, it could be, but the thing is if you're not checking in with it periodically, then it just becomes like this thing.
It slips away.
Yeah. So it's like I think these exercises are very important, and I don't fault anybody for using New Year's Eve or New Year's Day as like a point of reflection or even a point to look forward and like start to set goals. I thought Huberman put out a good tweet where he said, January 1 needn't be just another day. Our brain can segment time in many ways. Only some are constrained by biology. Designing a calendar date and a starting place to achieve behavioral and or psychological change is entirely legitimate. If you want to change, set it and get it. This happens a lot throughout the year too. Like how often do we start or say that we'll start something new on Monday?
New on Monday, beginning of the month.
Yeah, the beginning of the month.
A lot of people do that. Yeah,
we just gravitate towards it, call it arbitrary or not. We still gravitate towards niceness, neatness. You know what I mean?
It is how the human brain works.
Yeah,
right?
round numbers and things of that nature. So
I did that with smoking.
You smoked?
I used to smoke.
I didn't realize that.
Okay, right, no worries. I mean, no, it's fine.
I'm sure you told me, but it
it was always
it's just so not you now. It's jarring.
Yeah, for sure. But it was always just like, okay, I'm gonna quit tomorrow. Yeah, it's like this last cigarette. We'll call it a day tomorrow.
I think it's also like the humans are the procrastinators in like naturally too. So it's just like I'm gonna do this, but I can wait another day or two. It's like, well, the start of something is about to come up, so let me just procrastinate till that set moment, right? Yeah.
Starting is also so difficult, right? So it's like, or quitting, whatever. Whatever
Changing.
it is. Yeah, right. Mm-hmm. Initiating whatever your change is always like so difficult. So having a set date is pretty good.
Yeah.
That's why habits take like 3 weeks to form, like 21 days of continually doing the same thing for something to start becoming your new normal. And it's hard to get to that 3 week period where you do the same thing over and over again, or not doing the same thing. Call it smoking, call it alcohol, call it whatever you want. So building the habits takes longer than it does to make them not be part of your life anymore.
Mm-hmm. So in grinding Twitter and seeing all of this New Year resolution type posting and reflection, came across Landon's final product of 2022.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's the final product of 2022. No towel.
Disappointed.
Here, go put this on.
Yeah. Actually, if you could take the towel pick, if you could
maybe end of this year.
Take the towel pick in a terrible towel.
A terrible towel, that would be great.
Now we're fucking talking.
Mm-hmm.
It's crazy, man. Like looking back as to
looking good, kid.
Thank you. You look good, cuz. You look good.
You
don't look good, cuz. Yeah. It happens a lot faster than you think. And even now, people be like, "Oh, so like, what's the plan now? Is it over?" It's like, no, it only just started because now it's trying to build towards the long-term goal.
It's just a snapshot in time.
Exactly, of what a year can do, you know. And I don't remember. I mean, I remember the person I was last year, of course, but it doesn't feel real because
long-haired Landon.
You're you know, when you're always you live with yourself the entire time and you don't get to see things from an outsider perspective. But every couple months going home for MTTs in Florida, and my mom would look at me and say, "Hey, like you look a lot different now." I would think she's lying. But then having the accountability in yourself when it comes to like taking pictures and whatever and looking back and realizing, whoa, okay, that's different. I have less weight here. I have I'm stronger and look more vascular or whatever. But now it's an addicting kind of process where there's no real end goal, but it's just a matter of either getting to where you want to be or then maintaining that, because you can't maintain something when it comes to like a physique or like muscle. Do it like once you get to a certain point, do nothing, it goes away.
Yeah.
Right. So you're always at a point of either trying to maintain, trying to bulk, and trying to cut. So now I'm in this in between of putting weight back on the right way, which is a little bit sad, at least for me now, because you don't look
just eat
as
whatever you want.
You kind of can, but I don't.
Yeah.
Like if you put on too much weight too fast, like you'll gain more fat than you'd really want to. But I liked trying to become as lean as possible. Like I wanted to spend a full year cutting off everything. Like what's the lowest % of body fat I can get to in a year's time? And then you get to a certain point, it's like, okay, now you just look like really, really skinny, and now you have to put weight back on to get to a certain end goal. And it's just about following that process, which is really fun to me now. And it's still like the one thing that's in my priority list. Like, what's the most important thing to me? Fitness, health, gym, for sure. Poker is still like a very high up there in my list of things that I care about. But now I make an excuse to go to the gym, not to not go to the gym. And the same thing for poker, where now I need to find reasons to play poker again versus just cutting out of my life completely. Like we were talking about with living life in blocks, where you're trying to slowly put the blocks that you want to have in your life on a daily basis. So now it's like poker, gym, podcast.
Snowboarding.
Absolutely not.
I think this year will be an eye-opening one for you.
It's gonna be a fun one for him.
And you went through this already with poker, so hopefully this won't be shocking news to you. But a lot of people find success in getting started when it comes to like fitness and nutrition because of just massive beginner gains.
Right.
Mm.
And secondarily, you can also just have relative consistent success if you are genetically gifted or you just show a fair amount of discipline in showing up and being mindful of what you eat. So you don't need a deep understanding to necessarily achieve the goals that you want.
Right.
However, when you are prioritizing it the way that you are, like you're prioritizing it in a way where it's almost becoming your job in a sense of like what a bodybuilder would be doing. That is going to either require like a very intelligent and talented coach, or you doing a lot of your own research and weeding out the noise for the signal, which is a very challenging process. One that, you know, personally, I spent many parts of 2 decades trying to figure out on my own, and I certainly don't consider myself an expert by any stretch of the imagination now. So the reason why I'm framing it this way is because I keep hearing you reiterate that this is your absolute number one priority, and I just keep thinking about how even when I was a collegiate athlete and all I cared about was trying to make it to the show, I was still splitting my time between being a kid and following a dream. And, you know, that was it. I didn't have anything else on my plate, right? So I only had to juggle really 2 things. It was figuring out my social life and doing everything imaginable to try to make it in this path that I was drawing dead at. For you, it's
that sounds really sad, man.
Well, I mean,
I'm
you know,
sorry.
It's just
reality. Yeah. But for you, it's very different. You're already well accomplished in your career field. And when I say well accomplished, I mean relative to the field of everybody, not relative to the field of your peers necessarily. You have a long way to go to get to where you actually want to be in poker.
Yeah.
And I think what's really important to understand as you start to dig into this is that the fitness nutrition, it's a lifelong process. So it can't always be your number one priority. And at some point, you have to just trust the fact that you can default a big chunk of it. Like, you know how to eat now. You know how to show up.
Yeah.
Those 2 things in and of themselves are like 80% of the battle.
Yeah, it's a lot.
And can very easily just be defaulted. They don't need to be prioritized any longer, right?
I think you're missing the point, though. Sorry to say. Like,
No, go ahead.
I think it comes down to where his obsession for the gym comes from. Like, for a lot of people, you know, it just comes down to, you know, my friends go to the gym, or I'm at college and I like, you know, there are girls, this and the other. I feel like with Landon, it's like it's a lot deeper than that. You know, like we've spoken about his relationship with himself, you know, a year ago, 2 years ago, and it seems to be like a pretty dark place. So I think when you have that like hatred for yourself at one point in your life, and it is hatred because I mean I've experienced it personally. You're so fueled by the hatred that you had for your past self that it just becomes your number one priority, whatever it is.
Yeah.
So
I mean, I can't say that I relate to that, but I can understand it.
Until he overcomes that,
right?
And I don't want to speak on like his behalf, but I feel like until the goalpost moves as to like what your reason for doing it is, as long as it's fueled by hatred, it will always just be as obsessive as it is.
Yeah.
Until it shifts to, okay, I'm no longer the fat kid.
Right,
I've done
right.
well to get myself out of that. I no longer identify as that. Now I'm just a healthy young man, going through life. Now I can shift my focus onto something else.
Yeah. It comes with a lot of sacrifice.
Yeah, I mean, at least for me and like my perspective as to what I want to gain out of the whole like fitness type thing, because I know that these things in my life change, and I'm sure this year it's going to change differently. Where now I'm a lot more motivated to play poker again, and I still played a lot volume-wise last year, but it's a lot more intentional now, where I know like how I want to spend my time and where I want to go with it. And then fitness is going to shift under that in some ways, but they don't need to be mutually exclusive, right? Because before going to a tournament and day 2 restarts at 12, you can go to the gym in the morning. You know?
I think what Henry's saying though is valid in the sense that if you can't keep a hyper focus on multiple things at once, then you're always just going to be kind of like riding the dragon when it comes to successes and failures, right? So if you have to put poker on the back burner in order to be in good shape, then you're going to suffer in your career.
Yeah.
If you have to put being in shape on the back burner in order to excel at poker, then you're going to suffer, either mentally, emotionally, whatever, like how you view yourself, whatever. Basically, it's like having to deal with those regressions because you haven't worked something out to where they can both just be an important staple in your life is a big challenge. But this is part of being young.
Yeah.
Right. Like trying to figure out how to juggle all these things at once. And be like, that's the other thing is like, you're a high achiever, right? So it's like, you're trying to figure out how to juggle a bunch of things at once that you are above average at.
Yeah.
And that's sounds like a good problem to have. But, for a lot of people, they just discard the things that they aren't very good at. And they're able to like kind of hone in on whatever their particular skills are. And, maybe sometimes that leaves them with a more basic life and maybe they aspire to a little bit less. But in general, it also keeps things pretty clean,
Yeah. Yeah, I know what you mean. Like when it comes down to it in like very like minimal sentences, I want to become as aesthetically pleasing to myself as possible, as well as making poker my priority.
Sure.
And then also kind of being involved. Like there's more to life than individual things, but the individual things make you who you are. So it's weird. Because like I want to be good at the gym, I want to be good at poker, I want to do the podcast, I want to do stuff for Solve for Why, I want to have a social life, I want to have all of these things, but having them all be in your life at the same time, you can't have them all at 100 on a scale from 0 to 100.
Yeah, I think that's a really good way of framing it. Is if like you were given 100 attribute points to all of these things, how would you divvy them up?
Yeah, I think that's a good, call it, practice to do, and I also have to do that for myself, and then see where they go. It's like, okay, what's important to you? You have 100 points. Where do you allocate those points?
Yo, you're right though. He is full of shit.
Yeah.
He's so full of shit. Yeah, like I think it was yesterday. He sends me this website and he's just like completely like freaking out.
Oh yeah, fuck that one.
Because this website takes your like height, weight, and like 1 rep max or 10 rep max, whatever, and you can program it into like all these different lifts.
Okay.
So like bench press, deadlift, dumbbell press, all these things. And you can basically put in like, I can do X amount of weight for Y amount of reps. And then it'll tell you what your expected one rep max is. And then it'll tell you where you fall on a scale from beginner to advanced. And he's coming up like intermediate in a bunch of
I'm
things.
2 stars out of 5. I want to cry.
He's just like losing it. I'm like, bro.
It's like you've only been in the gym. You've only been doing this for a year.
And the irony is like he asked me like, so I did a few of them, and I was like, yeah, I'm like intermediate at most things. Like I'm like 3 out of 5 stars in like most of the lifts. And he's like, no fucking way. And I'm like, no, like he's like, how? There's no way. Like if you take the average guy that you're only the dead center of like strength.
I don't think it's taking the average guy.
Correct.
It's taking the average person who trains. Yeah.
And there are people who are really fucking elite at this.
Right.
It's like, I don't need to be a 4 or 5 star at bench pressing because I'm not fucking competing.
Yeah.
Well, it's not about competing. It's like, I don't want to be below, or not even like below average, right? Because that's not really the point. But I know I don't want to see what I want to get to my genetic potential. That's basically what it is. I want to see how strong I can fucking get.
Yeah.
So being where I'm at now is motivating to me enough to be like, okay, where can I push these scales of being as lean as possible while being as strong as I can?
Those two things contradict each other.
Right.
These are.
There's an I can't be both, right?
Right. There's just like so many things that you don't understand yet. Right. Like you just don't understand the processes of increasing. Again, it's the attribute distribution, right? Like you can't be the strongest man on earth with the lowest body fat percentage and
Right,
the
but
leanest
I
look.
can
Unless you're
be-
Liver King.
No, then that's
Yeah.
even then.
We
I
know how
want
he
to
got
reach. I need to find out what my precipice is for leanness of like where I want to be at like a resting rate and how strong that makes me.
Yeah.
Right? Because right now I'm nowhere near as lean as I can be and as strong as I can be.
Well, I'll tell you this: unless you plan on becoming a professional athlete at some point in the next 10 years, I can almost guarantee you will sacrifice strength for aesthetics 100% of the way through.
Oh, obviously.
Okay, so what the
But
fuck?
I still want to be
why
strong.
Why are we wasting time on how much can you deadlift?
Because there's a
You
difference.
don't even know how to deadlift yet.
There's a difference between being 190 and lean and 220 and lean.
Sure. there
That's
is.
the difference.
Yeah.
Like I'm skinny as fuck now.
Yeah, that's
I
true.
want to be bigger and not skinny.
Skinny
Yeah.
boy.
But I have. This is why I have to gain weight now, and I'm going to go through all of the
Best advice I can
transformative
give you.
stuff.
Best advice I can give you is play more poker and pay people to make these decisions for you.
What do you mean pay people?
Pay people.
To do what?
You pay someone. You pay a trainer. You say, "Hey, I want to be 220 and lean. And right now I'm 185 and lean." He'll say, "Okay, here's your diet. Here's your program."
Facts. Yeah, that's good advice.
Isn't he already doing that?
Kind of.
He's not taking advantage of it, but yeah.
Wait, so you?
We have to dunk first, by the way.
Oh,
I
shit.
fucked my knee up. I'm not gonna lie.
Oh, show my
okay.
knee.
Oh
My
no,
knee
the
hurt.
I did fuck
40-year-old
my knee.
fucked
He
up his
actually did.
knee.
He actually did.
I actually did fuck
my knee.
There
I'm sure
needs
he
to come
did.
to his defense, but
Listen, I fucked my knee up getting off the couch. So, guys.
Knees X.
so you prefer being aesthetically pleasing over strength?
100%. 1000%.
Me too.
Wow, you guys are interesting characters.
I mean, I was happy to be strong
Specimens.
when I was in college, but now I just want to look at
What,
naked.
why do I want to be strong for?
What do you mean? Why do you want to be strong?
But like,
No. Stop. You're diluting it. You could still be strong
still
and
be
aesthetically pleasing.
Right.
You just can't be as powerful or strong as if you didn't care about aesthetics. Like if you look at the world's strongest men, they're walking around like 20%, maybe even more, right? Because they just have to have. They're like football linemen. They just have to have mass.
Like the guys
the
that win like
mountain.
Iron Man
Yeah, like-
challenges.
Yeah.
and
Yeah,
stuff
like
that.
the mountain
Yeah.
from Game
no,
of
not
Thrones.
Iron Man.
No, not Iron Man.
Iron Man run 100
strong
miles.
men. Strong men.
What was that?
Strong man.
Strong man.
Like
The people that lift like 300 pounds over their head. And
Yeah. The guys like
Strong
throwing
man.
Oh,
kegs
he
and
wasn't
like.
there at the gym when
Yeah.
the world's strongest man came in.
Oh
and
my
started-
God! How did we not tell this story?
Started doing rep curls with 100
Bro,
pounds.
this is
and he-
insane.
Oh my gosh, absolutely fucking based. Yes, go on.
This is insane.
Yes.
We're at Anytime Fitness in Tahoe,
Of
and
course.
Landon is doing bench press for the 5th day in a row.
Stop it. Stop embellishing.
4th day in a row. Sorry, he skipped the first day.
No,
Yeah, he took a nap.
I'm not stupid.
He took a fucking nap when we all went to the gym. We were all
Don't let-
putting in that work.
Don't let him gaslight.
So he's doing incline press, and this huge guy, he's probably like 300 pounds. Just looks like a slob of a human. I was like, what is this? He's in like Birkenstock sandals and shit, shorts. It's like 22 degrees outside. Like, what is this human doing in the gym, even, let alone in our space? And he like walks behind Landon as he's finishing his set, and I'm like looking from the side as it's happening, like, oh, is Landon struggling? Is he not going to get this one in? And as he's like going to rack, the guy like spots him or whatever. I'm like, okay. And I see Landon just go, I got it. And I'm like, oh, okay.
You saw this happen?
Yeah.
I didn't know you saw it happen.
Yeah. So then Landon like walks over.
I clearly fucking had it. I clearly fucking had it.
Dude,
no, it
this
made me
is
so
not the point of the
story.
Not the point of
Fucking
the story.
hell, man. Take a day off.
Jeez. Take a day off.
It was brutal. I'm sorry.
So
I've never had that happen to me before.
So he the guy kind of wanders out. There's multiple rooms here. And he wanders out of the other room where Henry's at, and Landon comes rushing over to me, takes his earbuds out, which now I know it's serious because he loves nothing more than ignoring everybody. Comes rushing over. He's, dude, this fucking guy comes over to me, and I think it's you, like trying to spot me. And I'm like, I got it. And he's like, the cartel is here.
Yeah, that's what he told me. He's whispered that to me. He goes,
He whispers that like he's protecting us from the cartel.
yep.
Oh my god.
So then Henry's like texting the group. He's like, yo, I think this guy's like fucking drunk. And we're like, what's going on? So I kind of like wander out, meander where Henry's at. And this guy's going, I'm here to protect you. I'm going to protect America because I'm the world's strongest man. He picks up 100-pound dumbbells and just starts fucking firing them up. Like, that's actually pretty fucking impressive. I'm not going to lie.
It was fair play.
But it kind of like devolved from there. So it was evening-ish, 8:30, maybe 9 o'clock, whatever. It's a 24-hour key gym. So you kind of just like use your key to get in and out. This guy keeps walking in and out, and he has like a tote bag with him. Nobody has any idea what's going on, but it's like it's clear he's very drunk. And you know, you grew up around my family, and I've dealt with some drunks.
Yeah.
This guy is for sure fucking harmless, as best I can tell.
Okay.
But he's making people very uncomfortable. And there's probably like 10 people in the gym, and I would say like 5 of them are women. So I think we're all kind of just like keeping a watchful eye on him. We're trying to run interference where we can. But then he starts doing this weird shit where they have like 3 bathrooms in a row, but they're single person bathrooms. So you walk in, lock the door type of bathroom.
Yeah.
And they each have showers behind like a faux wall. So if you walk in, you just see the wall, and behind it is the shower, right? So I noticed this guy's like meandering around the bathrooms a bunch. And I walk in to take a piss, and for whatever reason, like my instinct just said, like, before you do anything, peek around into the shower. So like I peek around into the shower, like he's not there, everything's clear, and I take a piss. But even the fact that I had to think of that made me realize like this guy's making me uncomfortable at this point, right?
Yeah.
So now the gym starts to clear out, and it's like just Melissa and these 2 other girls and another guy alongside us. And Henry goes in the back, like we're wrapping up our workout. I was like, I think we should stay here. I was like, I think we should stay until like at least the women leave. Yeah. Right? Melissa's obviously coming with us, but like this other woman who's here, she has no idea what the fuck is going on. And, you know, she hasn't been here the whole time, so she probably doesn't know he's as bad as he is. But while this is happening, he just like keeps going inside the bathroom and leaving the door like partially cracked. So he like walks in and closes it, and then he like reopens it so that it looks like nobody's in there kind of thing. And I go to Melissa, I'm like, I think he's like hoping that we leave and like Venus flytraps a woman in the bathroom, you know? Like I don't know what's going on, but like this isn't adding up anymore. So I was like, I think we should just like stay until the gym is kind of clear. And Henry's like, all right, I'm gonna go in the back and like kind of shadow box a little bit. So he's in the mirror shadow boxing. And I just hear, you want to fucking go, mate?
Oh my God.
I had been incredibly patient with this guy. Like he was firstly way too close for comfort with everyone. Like he was like standing in a spot where in any form of mixed martial arts, like you just don't give someone that space, especially when they're coming off, maybe not in a threatening way, but he knew very well exactly what he was doing and the kind of vibe. Like the things that he was saying to us, he's like, guys, you need to be lifting like 100 pounds minimum if you want to protect America. And then he was like eyeballing like some Mexican people, like just super racist, just looking for trouble kind of thing. Comes over and starts like throwing punches at me in the mirror, like shadowboxing with me. And this was like 2 hours into him just being there. Yeah. I was like, fuck this guy. If I was 19, I would have kicked his head in already. I was just like, get out, man. I was just
Take him outside and gangbang him.
I was just like, get out of the gym. Like you're just interfering with everyone's workout, and now you're like throwing punches. You're way too close for comfort. Get out.
He's like yelling at him, and the guy obviously walks away. Again, I think he was pretty harmless. He wasn't looking to be confronted. But as the guy's like walking away, Henry's kind of like trailing behind him or whatever, and he's yelling at him, and then he finally stops, and I just hear him go, "Dickhead."
Dickhead. Absolute dickhead.
Like, this is great.
I was in a mood as well. I was in like a fighting mood. I wanted to fight him, but you know.
It's good you didn't. But the end result ended up being that like he just kept lingering. And Melissa like started to feel uncomfortable enough to where she called the local police. And they came in.
That's probably good.
Who knows what happens, but
it's like you guys can't stay there forever.
Right. The thing is, he has a key, so he just keeps coming in and out of the gym.
And there's no actual workers there, right?
Correct.
Because
after 6 o'clock,
right?
It just becomes an open gym.
Yeah, that's problematic.
Yeah. So it was. They do have these like they have these like call buttons where there's like 8 of them lined up on the wall, and it's just a note that says, if you have any trouble, press this button and it'll call the sheriff. So as we're getting ready to leave or whatever, right before Melissa decides to call the police, this younger kid walks in. He's probably in his like mid to late 20s, not very big in stature, maybe like 5'8"ish. And I was like, hey man, just so you know, like there's this drunk guy here. Everything I can tell, he's like harmless, but he's like very much in everybody's personal space and is kind of like roaming around, popping in and out of the bathrooms and shit like that. And the kid goes, "Are you leaving?" I'm like, yeah, we've been here for a while. Like we're gonna wrap up. He's like, oh, fuck, man. I go, well, like if you get really concerned, like you just press that button and the police will come. He goes, okay, thanks, man. I really appreciate that. I'm like, Jesus, man. Like I didn't realize
So wild.
how like. I mean, I guess I understand it. Like, but
It's
I'm
the world we live in now.
Yeah, but like,
people just like you deal with like you see shit like this all the time, man. It's rare, but like somebody goes crazy and does something that like.
Imagine being a dude though. Like there's like 3 of us. We're dudes. Imagine being Melissa.
Right.
Yeah,
Yes,
of course.
5'1",
right.
60 pounds.
Yeah.
Muscle mommy.
Yeah.
Muscle mummy. I don't know what the pound to kilo conversion is, so I assume she's like 45 kilos or something.
Yeah, that's probably
45
about
kilo
right.
muscle mummy who's like that tall. Like Frodo's taller than her. Bilbo Baggins lookalike. But yeah, no, imagine, and then you just got this like 340 pound
Very
guy who,
intimidating.
if
Yes,
he
of course.
grabs a hold of you, like there's not, what are you gonna fucking do?
Yeah, I think I have a warped perspective because even just like having watched him throw a punch, I just immediately dismissed him as like
That's
there was a punching bag and like.
But he's not trying to be a fighter though.
No,
like,
I understand.
His punch has nothing to do with it. Like his grip strength, I guarantee you, the fact that he can do 5 reps in each arm of 100 pounds. His grip strength, good luck trying to pull him off you if he grabs hold of you.
Yeah, I get it. I totally understand what you're saying. Everything you're saying is completely valid, and I'm not trying to dismiss that, especially not when it comes to like Melissa and everything else. But I'm not a confrontational person. I don't think I'm a very good fighter, and I'm not looking for one. I would have had no fear of this man whatsoever.
That's not true. Matt was just...
But again, it comes from like where we grew up. Like I'm used to being in these 24-hour gyms with a bunch of fucking guys who sometimes wander in blacked out and like.
That's normal to you?
I mean, like thinking back to the Iron Pit days. Not that people were coming in drunk or anything like that, but you remember Gino?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just like, he goes over dizzies, has a few, and then comes down and bench presses for a couple hours. It's like,
It's just like
they're also tame and timid.
Yeah, like when I drink, like the last place I want to be is the gym.
Dude.
Yeah, of course. I mean, to be fair, this guy wasn't trying to break a sweat.
No, he just tried to flex. Like, he was literally just went there to flex on Henry.
He was flexing hard, man.
Yeah, he was really trying to make Henry feel bad about his new year.
It's scary, dude.
It was, I mean, Corey was when Corey had a layover, he was in Mall of America when that stuff happened.
Yeah, that was wild.
Yeah.
Probably the closest anybody I know has been to a mass shooting.
It wasn't a mass shooting.
Well,
It was like a
it was a
tip.
shooting. It was a shooting.
He didn't
with,
know. He didn't know what it
Right,
was.
Yeah,
at
for
the
sure.
time.
Yeah. But it was a 1v1.
Yeah,
But
No, it was a 1v1. Guy pulls out a gun, the other guy's dead.
yeah.
That's why I didn't want to mess with this guy.
Precisely what happened.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ridiculous. But.
Ridiculous.
It is ridiculous, but it's the culture we live in these days. Shifting back a little bit so we can kind of put a button on this. What are you guys looking forward to next year? What do you look back on? And I don't want to say regret, but what would you want to change?
Regret.
No, not regret. Like look back on basically.
What do you want to regret now for the year?
Well, all right. So like this is I'm kind of like framing this out of a little bit of
I
my
don't
process.
live my life in regret.
It's not about regret. It's about like acknowledging and I think taking ownership over like the areas where you felt like.
Oh, you're talking about last year, not for this year.
Correct.
Okay.
A few years ago, I came across an article written. Was it an article? Might have been a blog. I don't know. Daniel Pink wrote it, where he was talking about failure resumes, and it really resonated with me in the sense that when I look at that process of vision boarding and looking ahead, what you realize is that you've moved on. You've just moved on from the past year completely, and you've kind of buried anything and everything that would have been a character defining moment from the negative point of view. And I think that it's really important to take that moment, whether it's December 31st or quarterly or even monthly, whatever the case may be, whether it's journaling or actually going through the rigid process of building a failure resume. I think it's really critical to kind of like look at the moments that stand out as kind of being like path altering, I could have done something different here, or I definitely fucked up here. There was some oversight in this, that, or the other. Reflecting in that sort of manner, to me, is what really allows you to not just be better and more efficient moving forward, but it's a humbling fucking process.
For sure.
Yeah.
Nobody wants to peel back that layer.
It makes you realize where you fell short, and not that anything's going to change, but you like pinpoint that this happened and you fucked up to now hopefully have that not happen again. But as a human, you try to do your best to mitigate that, because you're never going to live a perfect life and have continual W's and nothing on a failure resume for a year.
Yeah. Yeah, that's for sure true. I can tell you how mine have evolved. Like,
Let's start with you.
Sure. I mean, this is I think the 5th year that I've done this, and I would say the first 4, the entire thing was just built out of failures that I had in relationships, right? Because interpersonal relationships are just very fucking hard. Like, you know, Landon was kind of talking about earlier, you don't get taught how to be an adult, so to speak, in school. You don't get taught how to pay your taxes, how to buy a car, how to get a license, etc.
You don't.
You also don't get taught how to be a very mindful and thoughtful individual when it comes to the inner workings of a relationship, and also how to both reciprocate and demand certain expectations without alienating, right? So there's just there's a lot of stumbling and fumbling along the way, and if you never acknowledge it, if you have the mindset of, well, I gave it my all in every relationship that you had, then you're basically saying that everyone that fails is somebody else's fault, right? And it's like, oh, well, I lost a friend, or I lost a significant other, or I don't speak to this family member anymore because they're unreasonable, or they are unwilling to work on themselves, or, you know, and the thing is not to bring this back to the GTO conversation in poker, but it does apply in a theoretical sense where it doesn't matter what they do. Right? It doesn't matter what
you're
they're
indifferent as fuck.
Yeah, you are indifferent, so to speak, to their relationship strategy if you're actually putting in the work yourself, because you'll influence what you need to influence, and if you don't, then you'll create some sort of weeding out process, so to speak, right?
Well, if there's theory in everything, right, there has to be theory in communication. And then if you know that someone's faulty somewhere, you now have to node lock how to communicate correctly in order to get the result that you want instead of having a dumpster fire.
I mean, I was talking to Henry about this in Tahoe, or actually we were talking about it on the drive home, where I was saying,
He
like,
had his headphones in on the drive home.
He did have his headphones in. You actually might not have heard this fucking conversation. That's hilarious.
I was sleeping.
Okay, whatever. Go back to sleep, baby boy.
This is actually hilarious because we were talking about you specifically, and you may not have heard this
He
conversation.
didn't hear it. I promise you he didn't hear it.
If I was sleeping, I didn't hear it. If I have my headphones in, I still didn't hear it.
We know. But I was basically saying that, like, when it comes to me communicating with Landon, I know that we can get loud. And it's the same thing with you and I. Yeah. Like, we can get loud because I'm sure him coming from a triplet scenario, was just used to communicating that way.
Screaming is natural.
Right. And it's like
me coming from an Italian background.
Yeah, like it's the way of the people, you know? It's like, that's all I grew up around. Yeah. You didn't, you don't make better points, you make louder points.
Right, exactly.
Okay?
Right. Well, why would you it's so hard to make better points. It's just so easier just to scream and loud.
Yeah, let's not refine the argument.
Man,
you're
so
talk
right,
louder.
Brian. Fuck, this makes you want to not scream anymore. It's so much easier to scream.
Yeah.
It's so much harder to be smarter.
I mean, for me personally, I think screaming is a sign of just like someone that isn't able to articulate their arguments in a...
It can be. I think a lot of times,
it's a balance between that and the passion that you
I think
have
it's just
for
emotion. Mostly.
What do you mean I can't form an argument? He starts screaming.
I think we spend a lot of time feeling unheard, and I think we spend a lot of time, especially as poker players, repressing emotion. Mm-hmm. So whenever you do have that comfort level around somebody who will know that this isn't malice and you're not trying to actually fight, like onlookers, when Landon and I talk, think that we're fighting.
Like ready to throw blows.
Yeah, it makes other people uncomfortable. It doesn't make us uncomfortable.
You can see it from the podcast stuff
You're
too.
like, no, that's just how we talk.
Right.
Yeah. It's just us having a conversation.
Right, but like what I was saying too is that I recognize Henry doesn't operate that way. So I would just never raise my voice to him.
Right.
And in return, I would like be very caught off guard if he raised his voice to me. I would be like, oh, you know, I probably fucked up something, or I definitely triggered that sort of response. That's you know, that's a byproduct of having to do a lot of like introspection, and because I was just by default loud.
Yeah.
I would just yell at everybody. And eventually, like, you realize you start to alienate a
Now
bunch
you
of
only
people.
yell at some people.
Right, now I only yell at some people.
Man, I wanted to kill you. Remember that one day at pickleball and we were talking about lobs and I wanted to kill you?
Yeah, that was great.
That was when I actually got mad at you.
Man, that
like
was...
99% of the time we have a loud screaming match. It's existentialism where you're trying to make me realize things are more important than they are, or strategy, and I think that I'm better than you.
Yeah.
And because you think you know everything, I want to attack you.
But
most of the time, I love you.
You know what? It's not that I think I know everything. It's unfair because what happens is...
No, it's true. I'm just saying shit.
No. But what happens is when we have some sort of strategic discussion, I probably brought it up. So it's like I already saw that you have a hole in something. So like it's already a slanted argument.
Right. You're trying to pinpoint that you're smarter than me.
Well, you're just getting baited into something where like I know that you're actually failing, and I'm trying to turn your attention to it, but it turns into a dunk fest.
Man, because it's a weird.
Matt always has the hidden agenda, you know.
No, I'm just realizing this. I don't necessarily do it on purpose.
Well, okay.
Classic
so
Aquarius.
How do you show? Nice. How do you show deference to somebody repeatedly in spots where you like know they're right without feeling like a type of way about it on a repeated scale, right? If it comes to like not even just pickleball, right, but call it a strategy thing or something of that nature, where someone thinks that they have an insight to something that you might be lacking in, where you kind of have the role of like student, where you don't necessarily want to be like, oh, you're right, I should work on that. Like
well, I think,
over constant periods of time.
I think it's just like setting pride and ego aside, right? So the easiest way to do it is to find a scenario where you demand
reciprocity.
I hate this fucking word.
It's a grim word.
Reciprocity. Yeah. So you know, if you're talking about like you and I do think that you do this, but you do it in a way that's so cringe that I don't give you the W. But like you obviously have done infinitely more sim work than me, right? So if I don't show you deference to your sim work, then you shouldn't show me deference to things that I feel like I'm confident in, right? But if I do constantly, like if you find that I come to you and say like, what do you think about this spot? Like what would the sim do here? Then that should trigger in your head like, oh, he defers to me in scenarios where he recognizes that I have more categorical knowledge than he does, right?
Yeah.
So then you reciprocate. And that's why I said like with Henry, I would just like never raise my voice to him because he's never shown me anything other than respect when it comes to like keeping a calm tone, right? So it's like you just reciprocate. That's how relationships tend to work. That's why I said you're indifferent to what other people do, right? Even though Lamanna mostly communicates loudly, if I never raised my voice to him, he'd probably never raise his voice to me anymore.
Right.
Also, I think
maybe
it comes down to the student
depends on-
as well. Like if the student, like if you don't go to Berkey and like humbly admit that you're a beginner at something and be like, okay, show me how, because I've seen you firsthand. Like someone will tell you something that like you're not doing it right, and instead of just being like, hey, fuck, you're right, man, I'm a complete novice to this, or I'm a beginner to this, you always try and like find your way to justify your reasons for like not being good at it. If you approach that stuff more humbly in everything, whatever it is, you'll find that your mentors have a lot more lenience and patience and like understanding towards your pitfalls, rather than coming in all guns blazing, acting like you know everything there is to know.
I think that like this, I agree with you. Where I'm going with this is when we have conversations, because Matt, Nick, Chewy, and I have had conversations about many different things, many different times. I always have the feeling of if I don't defend my thought process or why I do something, I don't care enough. You know, does that make sense?
I actually would defend your side a lot. Like I think Henry's right, but I also think like it's different for everybody.
Right.
I think like that piss and vinegar is what gets you interested in things. Because like I saw with the progression of like training and lifting, he was just resistant to any advice at first. I was like, go get a trainer. You don't know how to lift. And telling him he doesn't know how to lift, in spite of the fact that he's literally never fucking lifted, somehow like rubbed him the wrong way, and he's like, I'll show you, and he's just in the garage like looking like a monkey with the wrong weight on each side.
Yeah, he's one rep.
This is it. This is the embellishment. That's what it
He's
is.
one rep maxing without a spot as well,
Yeah.
bench pressing. I swear,
Right.
if I ever see you do that in the gym again, I will be the
Yeah,
one
it's
that
insane.
pushes the weights down onto your
No,
back.
For what it's
He's
worth,
right.
I tried it prior and I got it. So it wasn't the first time
Okay,
I
but
tried
you
it.
still tried it without a spot. Like
Yeah.
that's the whole point. But
If I fail, I just slide the weight off and then move it.
But the thing is that in putting himself through a little bit of pain, he then recognized that I was right. And though he didn't show deference immediately, from that point forward, the process then became a lot of questions, right? Of, okay, you've been doing this for 20 plus years. Like, how do I go about getting a trainer? What am I supposed to focus on, right? Like, and that process has evolved. So it is some patience in the try and fail mechanism that like he wants to be humbled by the thing, not by a person. And I think that's good.
I mean, the thing is, like, I mean, it sounds cliche, but there are two sides to every coin. You have your Kobe Bryants, who, you know, they don't mind going around and say, look, I'm the fucking GOAT, man. I'm the best of this shit. And then you have your Tim Ferrisses, your Andrew Hubermans, who question everything, even though they have decades of experience on everyone else. They will still be at the feet of other people, other mentors, other experts, asking them questions and just approaching, you know, whatever conversation it is that they're having, even though they're probably qualified in giving expert opinions. They'll still be very humble about the opinions that they give, and they'll ask questions, and they'll just curious to learn from other people.
Yeah, I don't know if it's a pure spectrum or if it's an evolution over time, because like we don't know what Huberman and Ferris were like when they were younger necessarily. But I know personally speaking, like I can only speak to my own experience. I was exactly like Landon as a kid, and not even just as a kid, probably like well into my 30s. And the natural evolution of things was being humbled by enough processes to where you have to start to defer to people. And even if that deference is to people like a Huberman that you're able to kind of be adjacent to, you know, you're just watching and learning from afar. It's not like you have day-to-day interactions with him. That in and of itself begins this humbling process of realizing like, oh, I don't know shit.
Well, I mean, there's probably, when it comes to a bunch of different situations and relationships with people, call it the peer-to-peer relationships, call it mentor-peer, call it like, let's just use those, right? When someone brings up a conversation to you, like, oh, like, what do you think about this hand? And you see yourself as a peer where they see themselves as a mentor. And there's that in-between flip where they expect you to show deference and you expect to be on the same sort of playing field. There becomes an issue to where now you're trying to like fight, different word, but use your arguments to explain a situation under equal footing, where in reality, you're the one that's looking for help. Right?
Yeah.
So it's the weird in between of understanding where you are in a relationship, because those are all going to be different.
And it's fluid too.
And act accordingly. So sometimes where you're looking for deference somewhere from a peer, they don't like, or they like from a mentor perspective, right? Call it whatever you want. You bring up the point in order to have a discussion versus just get an answer.
Right.
Where it's like, oh, hey, what do you think about this? And then they say, oh, I don't like it. It's bad. Right. I've never been the person to accept that without having a long-standing conversation.
Yeah. And
Right?
I think that's good.
That is very good. Yeah.
Issue being how you go across
How you approach
communicating it.
Right.
Because when you communicate from a sense, like Matt and I've had this conversation of the mentor, peer, where it's like, I've not been in poker for very long, right? But because of the things being you think you've done more than you actually have, where we're not pure peers, like mentor, peer. And remember that. You know what I mean? Because if you come at that situation as a peer in some spots, it doesn't work, and it's not how it's supposed to be. And I've never had the mentor-peer relationship before, like just growing up when you're younger, everyone's in your age group as just peers, right? It's just you only have peers, and most people only have peers. Obviously, mentorship in itself is a blessing, really, to have someone that's been through all the shit help you, and not just be a mentor, but be a fucking good one at that. But that's kind of where it comes from, of just like feeling like you need to fight, but you really don't.
Yeah. And I think that's just an ego thing, right? It's just like you want to be heard. I think like two things that will serve you incredibly well in this industry is One, until you've got 10,000 hours in pretty much anything in life, like just treat yourself like a beginner. And I think approaching a lot of spots in life with a beginner's mindset is going to serve you well long term. And just like being aware that even plebs like me, you can learn something from everyone. It doesn't matter whether it's the guy taking the trash cans out or the CEO. Like there's something to learn from everyone, and I think just like having that in the back of your mind will go a long way.
Yeah, I think what Landon's speaking to is a very subtle issue that a lot of us suffer from. It's not actually the peer-to-peer relationship or the peer-to-mentor relationship or anything of that sort. It's the lack of it's the lack of respect when there isn't a power dynamic. Right. So it's like basically what he's implying is that he can challenge his peers more than he can challenge his mentors, and that's just simply not true. People who are older than you, wiser than you, whatever the case may be, aren't perfect. They're still going to be flawed, and they're still going to be able to be challenged. It's the way that you go about it, right? And what you're basically implying is that you can be no nonsense, not mince words, and just like challenge a peer in a very aggressive, abrupt kind of way, where you need to kind of dance around it a little bit more with somebody who's older than you and has been around the block.
Almost like a respect kind of thing.
Yeah,
like
but
you have to show.
But the reality is you should just do it with both.
Right.
Like, I shouldn't speak to you differently because I've known you since we were 6 than I would speak to Henry or Landon, where there's a 20-year age gap, right? As far as respectfully choosing my words, right? Sure, I could be a little bit more concise with you and maybe a little bit more blunt because you are going to know my intention more than anybody else. Mm-hmm. But I'm also like taxing you now with having to deal with like a little bit of my shortness, where for them I'm showing them a little bit more grace, right?
Yeah.
And I think bring this all the way back to like the failure resume, like that's an easy takeaway that I find myself highlighting all the time is just show more grace in any sort of relationship, be it peer, be it romantic, intimate, or platonic. It doesn't really matter, right? If you just demonstrate a little bit more grace and a little bit more patience, you'll often get out of people way more than you could ever expect by just being direct, right? You're the manager. What do we got on deck for the company?
We have Academy coming up.
We do have an Academy coming up.
February 2nd to the 5th, and we had 2 cancellations, so we have 2 seats.
Okay.
2 seats left. So get them while they're hot.
They got snowed in.
They got snowed in, yeah.
Brutal.
Yeah.
Fucking vortex.
Right? Yeah.
Sucking people in.
And then we have new dates on the horizon, which we will be announcing shortly, maybe by the end of the week.
Yeah. As soon as this one sells out, we'll come up with our new dates. We have a lot in store this year. I'm looking forward to the
Traveling
evolution of this podcast. We are a traveling podcast. We'll be at PCA. Well, we will be at PCA. So we are leaving the studio January 18th.
Yes, we are.
For the rest of January.
We won't be back.
Phil
Academy.
That's right. So we are going to be potting and playing the WPT, or sorry, it's not a WPT. We're going to be potting and playing from Seminole Hard Rock beginning January 18th all the way up until the 23rd.
3,500, 2 million guarantee.
Yep.
I'll be in it.
You're in it. A lot of satellites. I'm mostly going to be at the beach, I think. Yep. But I'll be doing a podcast during the day and playing a couple of the bigger events. From there, we go to Baha Mar in the Bahamas. We'll be there for the 10K PCA main and the 25K PSPC. We'll be partnering with poker.org to bring daily coverage from that event. They're really highlighting the PSPC as they have in years past. Obviously, Stars wants to make a huge deal of it as they're giving away hundreds of seats. And
we're basically flying south for the winter.
Yeah.
We're birds.
Yeah.
We're birding.
We're birding.
I wish there was like a snowboarding trip on the tournament schedule. Kind of brutal that everybody wants to go to these warm weather beach places.
Weird. People want to go to the Caribbean.
Okay,
man.
I don't know geography,
beach.
but after PSPC, there's EPT Paris. But I don't know if there's snow.
No, it just rains.
It's close
there.
enough to the Alps.
There's
Just-
definitely not
no
snow.
snow.
Yeah, it just
in
rains.
Paris.
Yeah,
It's like
no snow.
It's like
Paris.
fucking Seattle. Nobody wants to go
Right,
there.
February.
Nobody wants to go there. So yeah, we have that to look forward to. We're building out a little bit more segment type stuff. I think we're gonna start doing a weekly strategy segment. Haven't really come up with a name for it yet. Maybe Strat Talk. I think we're gonna try to do that every Tuesday. So we're gonna start tomorrow with our first one. We're also gonna work in Throwback Thursdays, where we kind of revisit pre-Black Friday days in poker, some of the stories.
Days of yore.
Yeah, some of the stories that came from our early starts, as well as even before our time. So looking back to a little bit more of the Doyle Brunson time.
Poker existed before we got into
Shocking, I know.
it. A long time ago.
Some of the greatest stories in our industry actually came from that time frame.
Back in the Deadwood era. With,
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that was a little bit more gangster, but I was thinking a little bit more on the fringe, like the Professor, the Banker, and the Suicide King. That Andy Beal tale is one worth telling for sure. So we're going to try to work in that a little bit. Melissa will be joining us for the trip down south. So you guys will have her for a solid 3-week stretch. She's going to be back in the fold. Henry's also going to be joining us on that trip.
Yup.
Oh, is he pulling an audible?
A little hesitation in his voice right there.
Yeah,
He's audibling.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I'm like,
Okay.
Maybe he just wants to keep the people on edge of
I'm
the
like-
seat,
That's fine.
you know?
I've gone from like 100% coming to now like 20% chance.
Wow, that's a flip.
Yeah,
100%. See, when people say 100%,
It's never 100%.
No, it's never 100%.
I mean, it was never 100% to start with, but yeah, okay, it's gone from like a 95% I'm going to join to
you got 2 outed.
like 20%.
You don't like those Florida PLO games?
I do like the Florida PLO games, but I woke up, I was saying to Landon the other day, I woke up and I just had like a bunch of job offers. I was like, okay, I need to just sit down and like really strategize.
You know what that means.
Because we went to Lake Tahoe
Yeah.
to, plan 2023 out, and none of that happened. All that ended up happening was us
Couch.
cooking a lot of chicken.
Hold up. Let him cook.
And watching Netflix for 3 days.
This is your first experience with the let's go on a trip to plan and
Yeah.
work. Yeah, that never
like
happens.
zero work got done.
It never-
Speak for yourself.
Zero work.
Okay,
All right,
okay.
you booked 2 Airbnbs. Well done, mate.
I fucking crushed it. I booked 2
Congratulations.
Airbnbs. I wrote a script for On Second Thought.
dude.
I'm not saying you didn't get work done. It's just
All right, dude.
I mashed.
Look, Henry,
I mashed them taters.
you cannot say you did not have a great time.
I mean, it
Come on.
was highly unproductive.
That's not the point, though.
It was a complete waste of time.
You had fun. Jokes were had. Couch nights were shared. We went to the gym.
Sure.
You have to
Gym
now
was
curl
good.
100 to.
Gym was the highlight of the trip, yeah.
Wow.
Gym was the highlight of the trip.
I
It was a good
remember you being on the couch.
I had a great time.
Telling me how much you loved being on the couch.
trip.
Okay?
It was nice to just like not have anything to worry about and just laugh and watch TV.
Yeah, that's how vacations work, man. You should take them once in a while.
Listen, 2023 we're taking over.
No vacations 2023.
No vacation.
Okay, listen. I'll help you plan your
WPT,
Health.
APT, Merit, taking over America. Every single
Protecting
commentary
England.
stream that you hear, bar maybe 2. Me.
I will help you plan your 2023. First of all, I think planning a year is nonsense. But
It is. I like to do it quarterly.
okay, well I'll help you. If you woke up with a bunch of job offers, the easy solution is charge more.
Yeah, that's what I'm doing.
Okay.
I already changed my prices from last year.
Yeah, fucking triple them.
Yeah.
He just went up
Some
in
of
his
those job
price.
offers will disappear, but the good news is you only need a third of them to stick around.
Ring ring Tom Wheaton. Above the felt.
W business.
Oh yeah, sorry, Henry doesn't get. I'm not even gonna put my quote out there. No. No, I just wanna just knuckle down a bit, and PCA sounds like it would be a bit of a distraction.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're 27. Distract yourself, sir.
Nah, come on. This
It's
is
you
the
know what,
time.
it's weird, right? Isn't it weird where the old guard tells the young guard that they are supposed to have distractions, but at the same time the young guard is so focused on doing the things they need to do that distractions are still important, but how do you do it?
I've never once been the type to say that in your 20s you should be like singularly focused and just locking down making all the money. Now granted, I'm not rich and it's probably because of that. But
Wait, didn't we have a conversation?
I'm happy.
Fuck. It's funny because
Did we have a conversation about what?
I don't remember Galfond fucking around. He was knuckled down, and now he's got all the money.
Bro, he had a slide in his house.
Yeah, well,
Have you ever read Ship at Hullaballa?
Yeah, I
Galfond
have.
was not knuckled down in his 20s.
Dude, he owned a $1.4 million penthouse.
Yeah.
At 27, that's knuckled the fuck down.
No, it was.
I don't care if it had a slide in there.
No,
He's vibing.
He wasn't knuckled down. He was living in a house with a bunch of knuckleheads playing fucking
True.
501k against these goddamn punters in the middle of the night because an alarm went off that said fucking whoever just sat down.
Wow, we should have Phil in the pod.
We had him on a throwback Thursday.
That would be go to.
Talk about Rail Heaven.
For a throwback.
Yeah.
But no,
Throwback Thursday, Rail Heaven would be a really good app.
We were talking about making all the money back when we had Landon Steak.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Okay. You took it too far. Different. You weren't distracted.
What is different?
What is different is you weren't distracting yourself. You were still fucking playing. 99% of your time was put into poker, but you just didn't give a shit about making money.
No.
You were taking all the low EV spots and passing on all the high ones. That's different.
Fish. That's a life fish.
Yeah, that's life fish right there.
Yeah.
You just want to be battle tested on someone else's dime, and I respect that. But the whole point is, in my opinion, your 20s, God damn it, your 20s should be utilized to
fuck up.
Yeah.
Make
yes,
mistakes.
precisely. Just fuck up a lot. And honestly, like, I'm not trying to encourage you to go to the Bahamas. Like, skip it. I've only gone 3 times personally. So it's not like as if I think it's this mandatory trip that everybody has to go on. But most of us who are still in this industry look back on PCA as like one of the more memorable getaways on the tour. Like, it's rare that you'll come across anybody who's been around for 20 years that didn't go to PCA and enjoy themselves. Whereas the counter to that is you'll come across plenty of guys who've been in the game for 20 years that have never played an EPT, that have never gone to Barcelona or Aussie Millions or any of these other like staple events on the tour, right? It's WSOP, PCA. Those were always the two that you absolutely had to do that were kind of like summer camp.
Yeah, but I think you forget just how traveled I am for a 27-year-old.
That part's very true.
It's just, I don't know.
It's not about being in the Bahamas. Nobody gives a shit about seeing the Bahamas.
What is it then?
It's the camaraderie. It's
you get to
being
show
in a place
with the boys.
Yeah, it's being in a place with 300 other professionals that are pursuing the same thing you are. Like, PCA is tougher. I mean, you know, it's a 25.
Comparatively speaking.
Yeah, it's a 25K with 500 fucking satellite winners.
They're not satellite winners though, are they? Come on, they've had to win events to get there.
Some of them are just like they wrote an article and got gifted a seat.
For sure, but like still, half of them had to win an actual tournament.
Sure.
Okay.
It's still going to be one of the softest 25Ks.
They say that about this every tournament. They're like, oh, this is going to be the softest 10K of the year.
It's because like increasing your ROI by 1% is a lot. Or by 10%, you know? It's like if you could play an event where, if you could play a 25K where your general expectation is like 10% ROI and suddenly you have 20, that's fucking significant. That's the softest 25K of the year.
I mean, I hear you, but I don't walk through life looking at everything in ROI and EV.
No, I agree with you.
My life EV will always outweigh the ROI of any cash game, any tournament that I could play. And I know a lot of professionals out there, and I've spoken to close friends, even like Espin and Jonas and that, and they're just like, no, bro, you know, like your ROI, you know, you need to be in this game, this, that, and the other. It's like, I'm not going to look back when I'm 70 and be like, fuck, you know, I'm glad I was in that game.
No, yeah. I agree with you. I'm not even framing it that way. I'm exactly like you, which, by the way, you're also never going to be rich.
No, I'm going to be
that.
absolutely. I'm already minted.
Yeah, just accept that because like basically same. But the reason why I'm framing it that way is because I think all the ROI is actually being around your peers.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm saying. I think the trip is worth taking just to be around the people who take that sort of trip. Yeah. And then the carrot on the string is like, oh, there's also a really good fucking 25K.
Friend ROI. Who knows? Maybe you meet someone and then we'll see.
Maybe I just have a piece of someone that wins millions of dollars again.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Wins millions of dollars.
You got to swap to do that, though. Swap to the top, baby.
Dude,
top.
No one's better than Landon.
Well, I'm so good at swaps.
I told her I would buy his swaps at a piece of his swap at 1.5.
One of my low light moments that I put on my failure resume was forgetting to swap with Espin. in the main.
I know you guys went to dinner with him too, right?
No.
Or you saw him beforehand?
No, like for 3 days leading up to the main, he texted me multiple days in a row and said, "Hey, we got to grab dinner before the main."
Oh my god!
And I was like, "Yeah, we definitely do." And I went deep in an event that that like took away a bunch of time, and I just didn't make time for it. And I'm not saying he definitely would have swapped, but it's like, you get the dinner, and it's like one ball.
But if he swapped with you, he probably would have busted like day one.
100%. 100%.
He was done.
100%.
You did him a favor.
Absolutely. That was never coming through.
Yeah.
Literally never coming through.
I just realized that like there's a certain age that you have to get to before you get to win all-ins in big spots, because you have to play enough of them and lose. That's when I'll stop swapping. But
That's
I'm not
adorable.
there yet,
Hey, you're smart, man.
Yeah.
It's sharper than the rest of
Well,
us.
because we've talked about this, like having all of yourself or like big pieces of yourself in like very like high EV spots, which is also true. But then at the same time, like having some sort of variance mitigation, because sometimes you're not the chosen one.
Yeah.
And like there's got to be somewhere in between.
Oftentimes you're not the chosen one. I went over my stats. We'll wrap on this, but I posted in a thread my stats for the year, and having come through them, like very underwhelming. I had a massive 2021, and then just like a very mediocre 2022, where I actually lost like 80% of my profit in that Live at the Bike game. But my volume was just like despicable.
Low.
I played 28 cash sessions for like 300 hours and 30 MTTs. And my ROI in the cash sessions was like
30 MTTs, that's it?
Yeah, and they were probably like, I would say like 27 of them were probably WSOPs.
And you call yourself a professional poker player?
I know.
He's a professional podcaster.
Well, 30 live, right? And then some online? You played some of the freeze outs.
Well,
and stuff.
I didn't even include any of the online stuff in my stats.
Oh, got it.
I didn't play enough to even matter. I'm sure it's a net zero. And probably like fewer than 15 events.
Market zero.
But yeah, my ROI in cash after the last 2 days of Live at the Bike where I got brutalized was like 2%. I think I won like, I don't know, somewhere in the neighborhood of like a buy-in or a buy-in and a half. And then my ROI in MTTs was actually really good. It was like 60%, but I didn't play any.
Yeah.
So,
and if you played more, it might go lower than 60%.
60% on an average buy-in of, 4K, 5K, whatever. Not that much. Didn't really make all that money over 30 events. But
no, you had some spots though.
Did have some spots, went deep in a few things.
FT, WSOP, 2500 freeze out.
Yeah.
Second deep in the 5 diamond, right?
No.
That was 2021.
That was the year before.
Wow.
Got second in that stupid 5K turbo.
I remember that. And I remember you had just tweeted like a day before that 5K turbo that you couldn't close out a tournament.
Oh yeah, because I
remember this.
I got 19th in the WPT main.
And then like
I got fucked so good.
Weeks, and you're tweeting heads up in this 5K. I'm like, no, that would be so clutch if he just closes this out after moaning it in on Twitter.
Dude,
and then like 30 minutes later, got second for 100.
He was in for 6 in that tournament.
5.
In the 5K.
5. Yeah, very respectable 5.
Yeah.
Don't know how much.
It was the softest 25K that is out there.
That's actually it was a tough 5K, but a really easy 25K.
Man, you got fucked in the main, dude. You got quadded on.
Oh god, yeah. With like 31 left, I played a 2.5 or 3x chip lead pot, where the total pot size was
Jack
like
10-5 rainbow board.
Yeah.
Ace Jack against pocket 5s.
Ace Jack of spades versus pocket 10s versus pocket 5s. I had 10s. And we got it in. This guy, he's sharp. Chip leader at that time had like, I think 1.5 million. The total pot size was like 5.5 million. Jesus. And I was third in chips against the guy who was second in chips with the Ace Jack. And then the third person was like average stack or whatever. Turn 5 of spades, giving him quads, which also now gives Ace Jack outs.
Yeah, it gives him a jack.
He had a jack to win. Luckily, I faded that. So I ultimately I mean,
I know.
I think I started the hand with like 1.5 million or so, and I ended the hand with like 2.1. But the total pot size was like 5.5. So I ended the hand second in chips when it was all said and done to the guy who won the pot. But had I won it, I would have been like 2.5 or 3x chip leader. Maybe I would have rolled through it like Darren Elias. Who knows?
All right, where the guy that won the hand with quads, where did he finish?
5th or 7th. I can't recall.
I think this was the one that Alex Yen won.
Yeah. And Elias got second.
And was it? Mark Davis won that. Elias got second.
Yeah.
Because
How much was
Anton
that
got
top?
second, and then.
Just $1 million.
Just casual.
Yeah.
Just-
Oh my God! It was that one where like everyone that was like just like WT legends were just like deep in this tournament somehow.
Yeah.
Just continually. It's like, what's going on?
Yeah. Fucking
Brian?
Caldo busted me.
It's crazy.
Yes,
'cause,
Caldo
like,
was there. I love you, Caldo.
you're never gonna get that like EV back ever.
I know.
Like you just play like 1,000 tournaments. It's just
I'm probably just gonna kill myself.
No, what you're gonna do is you're gonna show up and play another tournament, and then it might happen again.
Yeah, that's true.
yeah.
Hopium. See, my resident hopium.
Look, man. Someone has to make the dark side light.
Yeah.
You know.
I honestly think mixed martial arts would serve you well.
I would fear that I would turn into Landon with that.
I honestly,
Where like I would just abandon my career.
feel like if you just
Just
started like boxing, 3-4, like boxing with a bit of jiu-jitsu or something, this you would change.
Yeah. I did a lot of
turn it around.
I did a fair
You
amount
would
of
change.
kickboxing
You
in
would turn it around.
high school. It was fun. I always preferred lifting though.
You can
Um,
still lift.
But yeah, at 40, I feel like if I'm introduced to stuff like that and I actually enjoy it, I might just abandon everything. I was close with snowboarding.
I mean, you were
almost-
close with just
Become a
life.
professional snowboarder.
Yeah.
You've heard how like Jocko and Lex talk about jiu-jitsu, right?
Yeah.
Go give it a try, man. I reckon it'd change your life. Like jiu-jitsu is it's eye-opening.
Wow.
I don't know, man. I don't want to become Andre.
Because you were
I don't want his life.
Nah,
you're very close to abandoning everything and going into the woods.
Yeah.
We might never see you again.
If I would have had a better this past snowboarding trip was awful. I was so bad. I feel like I've hit my plateau and I'm losing interest. But if I had progressed again, that might have been it. I might have just gotten a cabin in Tahoe and just like me, the pups.
Yep.
You guys fend for yourselves. Podcast is done.
Wow.
I'm out.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna live in a tent in
Here
the
we
woods.
are back for 2023. We're really on good foundational pillars here for
Thank
the
God.
podcast.
Thank God he sucks, guys. at
Yeah.
snowboarding.
Foundations are
The
built on
podcast will
quicksand.
continue.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But we made it. 2023.
podcast ain't going anywhere.
We're not fucking leaving.
That's right. I'm
That
not
Penn State
leaving.
game's starting.
Okay.
Just saying.
All right.
All right. Chill. Okay.
All right.
Yeah, I
we
feel
go-
privileged to be invited on the first episode of 2023. Thank you. For
That's
having me.
right.
Absolutely.
Well, you are an only friend, and I'm here with my only friends.
It's so bad, man. We have to
So
we have to
good.
change that for
L.
2023.
I love it.
That's an L intro
Shout out
right
Conrad.
Yeah, if you guys want to
Greatest opening in podcast
let us know
history.
in the chat if Conrad should continue doing the opener, please let us know. That's gonna do it for us. We'll be back same time tomorrow. Tomorrow is going to be a little bit more strat heavy. We're gonna discuss the gambler's ruin and how that applies to poker specifically. We'll obviously keep you up to date on current events, as well as remind you that we have an academy coming up February 2nd to the 5th that is still available. 2 seats. Head over to solveforwhy.io academy.solveforwhy.io if you'd like to get a seat today. On that note, we're out of here. Thank you so much for joining us. Please like, comment, subscribe. As always, Henry, appreciate you filling in while our man Conrad is out taking care of business on the East Coast. We'll see you guys tomorrow.
Happy New Year. Peace.